Thank you for joining us for another episode of Talk for 10. Today we're out at one of my favorite places and speaking to one of my favorite people. We are at St. Peter, St. Paul, and we are talking to one of our community leaders, Father Andrew. So Father Andrew, thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. Tell me a little bit about your road to getting to St. Peter, St. Paul.
How far back do you want to go? So I am an Anglican priest, and I come from a line of Anglican priests. So my dad was an Anglican priest, and his dad was an Anglican priest. So naturally, I didn't want anything to do with it.
Right.
When the Lord started tapping me on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, this is the way I want you to go too," I kind of rebelled and didn't want to go into that profession. And in his great mercy, he has restored to me the joy of my salvation. He has given me freedom. I turned back to him, and I embraced the calling and pursued this. Along the way, I met my wife. We got married. We've had 6 kids. Been ordained in the Anglican tradition. We served at a church in Buffalo, New York, where I was an assistant. And then in 2020, the Lord led us here to St. Peter and St. Paul in Arlington. So we've been here now for 5 years.
Wow, that's incredible. And so there's a lot of confusion as to how the Anglican religion differs from Catholic and Episcopalian and all that.
Yeah.
Can you give us just a little snippet of what the Anglican religion, how is it different from the other two?
Yeah, well, I like that you're using the term religion. Religion is, it means to bring back together, right? Ligion being like a ligament, and a re-ligament, bring it back together, tie things back together. And the goal of religion is to tie the relationship between humanity and God back together. As Christians, we believe that happens through Jesus Christ, the God-man, who took on our human flesh and brought us back together, and established the church for the purpose of bringing humanity back together. And he's given us means to do that. The sacraments, the Holy Scriptures, the spiritual disciplines, and his divine teaching. These are to guide us to him. And so within the Christian religion, there are different expressions of that and different beliefs about how best we should be reunited with God, right? And there's certain things that we all hold together that all Christians sort of agree upon. Those are codified in the different creeds. We all agree on certain sacramental practices, even if we don't agree on the nature of those things. So there's certain things that kind of hold us all together, but we live it out differently, and we have disagreements about the necessity of certain things and others. And as Anglicans, we represent one expression of that universal faith that was handed down from Jesus to the apostles, through the church to us. So there's different expressions of that. There's Protestant expressions and Roman or Latin expressions or Eastern Orthodox expressions. Anglicanism is the expression of the universal church for the English-speaking people. So we were born and raised in England. Our roots go all the way back to the 1st century there. Our peculiarity, maybe for lack of a better word, was kind of raised up in the culture of the British Isles, the Celtic Church in Ireland, and the development of the English Church with the influence of the Latin Church eventually, as well as the interaction with the Germanic peoples and all these different things coming together over time to sort of press together the diamond that is Anglicanism. So relative to Protestantism or Roman Catholicism, we're kind of in the middle. We've been called the middle way. We might like to say that we take the best of Protestantism and the best of the Roman Catholic faith and hold them together. From the Protestant tradition, we have an emphasis on the Holy Scriptures and their authority, as well as the importance of preaching and teaching. On the Roman side, we might say that we have the sacramental element, the emphasis on the mediation of God's self to us through material created means, the bread and wine in Holy Eucharist, giving us Jesus' self, the waters of baptism, uniting us to Christ through the Holy Spirit, and the other 5 sacraments as well. But then there are certain things that are distinctive about Anglicanism as well. For instance, our prayer book. The Anglican prayer book, the Book of Common Prayer, is our gift to the universal church, and is distinct to us. An emphasis on praying what we call the divine offices, or morning prayer, midday prayer, evening prayer, and Compline. All day, every day, we want to be praying, and so we also have with that a 1-year reading of the Bible. So you see these apps and things for reading the Bible in a year. Well, Anglicans have always had that. It's just been part of our spirituality. We have a real affinity for liturgy, being intentional about how we speak and pray about God revealed in Jesus. And so we have liturgies that we turn to and that are borrowed by many other traditions. So we all know the phrase, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today." Well, that comes from the Anglican liturgy for marriage.
Wow.
And that gets borrowed and picked up by all kinds of different traditions. So that's really our gift, is this emphasis on liturgy and worship and beautiful things. So Anglicans really do worship really, really well. If I say so myself.
No bias.
No bias at all. We emphasize worshiping the Lord in the beauty of His holiness, and that's really something that we emphasize, and is our gift to the broader tradition.
I will say that before Eric and I came over to be a member here, we visited several churches, and that was one thing when we came in, was just the atmosphere, how beautiful it was inside, just how welcoming the people were, and you felt at home.
Yeah.
And it was a really, really good fit for us. It's more traditional.
Much more traditional, right? So, and the great thing about that is that it withstood the test of time, right? So the liturgies that we use, we can trace back, one of them back to the 4th century. Another we can trace back to before 1050-ish, even probably before that, into the 10th century in England, when the church was still united, right? Before we have the big splits in the church. And so we're doing what the church has always done. And at least that's what we're trying to do, is to do what the church has always done. And we do it reverently, and we do it with beauty. Yeah. And so I'll say, just as I might, and again, as an example of holding together those two things, word and sacrament, the Anglican liturgy begins with the first half of the liturgy in what we call the liturgy of the word, where there you get the readings of Scripture. We read the Old Testament, a Psalm, New Testament, and Gospel passage. And then the sermon is on that. So it's not about my soapbox and the things that I might really care about. So you're not going to hear a sermon on my pet project every other week.
Right.
We try to go through the whole counsel of God, and the people hear the word of God read every Sunday. So in a 3-year cycle, you're going to read all of the Scriptures.
Right.
So actually, I think, ironically, in an Anglican church, you're going to get more of the Bible than in the Bible traditions.
Right.
Because we read more of it, and then we preach on it. And then we move directly from that, we move to the Liturgy of the Sacrament, where we celebrate the Holy Eucharist, where we give thanks to God for His sacrifice for us, and we offer up our sacrifice of praise and thanksgiving, and He gives Himself back to us in the objective means of the bread and the wine. And I think most people who are used to our kind of worship, most people who come, they're struck by the reverence and the beauty of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you've done this, you're kind of hooked.
Yeah.
It's hard to go back to anything else, because you feel the presence of God so powerfully that
You do. And I think that's one thing too, is you feel the presence because it's not being distracted by the smoke machines and everything.
We don't even have screens in our church.
It's just a good experience. So going back to what you were talking about, a split, what would you say is you've seen like the big changes since you've started your journey to becoming a rector as far as the church? Is there A lot. Oh,
Well, not so much since I was ordained and I've been coming up. We've been in the Anglican Church of North America, the ACNA, that whole time. But I was raised in what we call the Episcopal Church USA. And some of the history there, just real quick, I'll try not to get too far into it, is that, our tradition comes from England. And when the colonies were formed, the Church of England came with it. And when we fought the War of Revolution, the War of Independence, we couldn't be part of the Church of England anymore because we couldn't swear allegiance to the king. So at that point, that's when the Episcopal Church USA, though it wasn't known by that name, but that's what it became, was born. So we were sort of the Anglican expression here in the United States.
we have as a society, I believe, I could be wrong, that we've kind of moved away from, we go to church, we worship
Yeah.
every Sunday. We've kind of moved. So how do you get other people in the community involved in that? What does that outreach look like? I mean, or how do we solve
Yeah.
that problem, right?
Well, I mean, there's lots of different ways to do that. One is to do these kinds of things where we tell people about it. So I'm grateful for that. But the biggest way is for the people in the church to be a light and a witness to the people around them. We want to look different and act different and to love our neighbors
Yeah.
and show them that Jesus really makes a difference in our lives. And as we do that, as we love them, I believe that the church can offer things that the rest of the world can't offer.
Yeah.
We offer a place of real community, real love, where the structures of quid pro quo and judgmentalism should be blown away. They shouldn't be part of the equation. There should be no equation. It should just be a matter of loving without difference, loving no matter what. Now that doesn't mean that we affirm every choice, right? We believe in sin. We believe some choices are bad for you, but we also believe that the church should be a hospital for the broken.
Mm.
It should be a hospital for sinners. This is the place where you should come to be able to find peace, to find freedom. And it's truth that sets us free. And we have the truth, and the church is the steward of those things. So we try to do different things, right? We try to do community outreach where people can come and engage our members. We try to have things like home groups where people can come to a less intimidating place and rub shoulders with people who love them well in intentional community where they can be supported and loved for who they are, but not left where they are, right? We want to love you for who you are, but we love you enough to say, hey, you need to change.
Yeah.
And we all need to change. That's not to point fingers. We all need change. I need change. And it's in the Church of Christ where we're able to find that change. Not by burning cities down, not by rioting, but by offering forgiveness and love. And that's on a grand scale. And like Peter and Paul, we're way smaller than that, but we need to be doing those kinds of things and having that kind of witness. And I think as the church does that, people see the difference and they'll be attracted to that.
I think you're right, because it all starts locally, right? And then we branch out. And talk about locally, you have something coming up in a few weeks. What is it that's community outreach?
Thanks for the setup. I appreciate that. So on October 11th, we'll be hosting our third annual chili cook-off. We partner with the Arlington Police Department as part of the Faith in Blue weekend. And we think this is a way for us to work towards the common good of our community. We believe in order, and we want to support the Arlington Police Department. And together with them, we are working to benefit a local ministry, Rescue Hill. Rescue Hill works here in Arlington, but also throughout all of the DFW Metroplex to help women, especially who've been liberated from sex trafficking. So these are women who've fallen into hard times or they've been victimized in different ways. And Rescue Hill provides an intermediate place for them to get healing, to learn life skills, so that eventually they can get into a long-term program and really find freedom and get their lives back on track. Problem is, like with state-run things, is they're for 72 hours or even shorter.
Yeah.
And the women coming out of that, they're in crisis. They've been in trauma. And you just can't make good life decisions when you're in that kind of state. So if they go straight from that into long-term housing, it doesn't always work. And
Right.
Rescue Hill gives them a place to get some healing for the trauma. They give them mental health stuff. They also, they're an explicitly faith-based organization. So they want to help the ladies find Jesus and find the peace and joy that comes with him and begin that healing. But then they also teach them life skills and just try to help them become people again.
Right.
And then from that place, then to put them in a long-term program, which can go up to 4 years, with the goal that they can become, live into their humanity again, that humanity that's been stolen from them, to have that restored to them is a huge gift. So it's a way for us to work for the common good. And all the proceeds that are raised through our chili cook-off, which includes having the teams, the community participates by coming and buying taster cups and voting for the different chilies, but we'll also have a silent auction as well as raffle prizes so that they can, the community can participate by doing those. We'll have some touch-a-truck stuff. The APD will be here. We'll have some fire trucks. So there's stuff for the kids to do. There'll be hot dogs too. If chili's not your thing, there'll be other things to eat.
Yeah.
And then all the proceeds from that go directly to Rescue Hill. We don't keep anything. We don't offset our costs. Everything, every dime that comes to us goes directly to Rescue Hill to support the work that they do. And they'll be here on property as well. So you can come and meet them and hear more about the ministry that they do. The Arlington Police Department will be here, so you can talk to them. It's a great way to build community trust as well.
And you could come check out the church.
Yeah, absolutely. Come and check out the church. We'll give you a tour if you want. You can come talk to the rector. I'll be there. I did win last year, so I'm just warning you.
Was it biased though? I mean, who's going to go against?
It might have been. Yeah, it might have been. It might have been. I think the chili was pretty good. But, so I'll enter again, but I'd love to talk to anybody and answer questions or.
So what would be one thing that you could say? I know that a lot of us are struggling out there right now. What would be one part of advice that you would give someone today, that if you're struggling, not even financially, you just feel lost? What would be something that you would say to them, something impactful that you could pass on to somebody?
Yeah. Turn your eyes towards Jesus.
Wow.
The truth will set you free. And I can speak from my own life, a life that was chaotic, totally living the life of the world, and felt stuck in a rut and like there was no way out. It was totally devoid of purpose and meaning. But when I turned to Jesus and I gave myself to him, I have never known that kind of freedom in my whole life. I was not able to love. I could only love myself. But Jesus taught me to love others. And now I have a beautiful wife and we have 6 beautiful kids together. And that the amazing thing about that is that, you think that love is finite, but in Jesus, you just learn to love more.
Yeah.
As we add one, our love expands. And it's him who does that. Yeah. He turns us outward back towards others and restores us to our meaning and purpose. So no matter where you are, whatever you're struggling with, depression, addiction, meaninglessness. I mean, that's a big thing for a lot of people. It's just that loss of meaning. Jesus is the answer. That old Sunday school answer is right.
Yeah.
Jesus is the answer. Turn to Jesus and come and find him here with us at Peter and Paul.
So I hope you've enjoyed our episode. And if you have any questions, you need any more information, look up St. Peter, St. Paul. Come join us at church.
We'd love to have you.
We have thoroughly enjoyed our time of visiting and becoming a member of the church. And we've learned so much. And honestly, our journey has really been incredible being a part of the church. And we have grown from being around good people.
We have a special community here, a really loving one.
So make sure that you like, subscribe, and get those notifications.